What up, guys and girls? Another brand new video coming at you today, and we are back finally for another season of AOR Oceania, but this time F1. As you could tell there just before then, you saw the results from season 2, but you're probably wondering why F1, not F2 like it has been the previous seasons. Well, like I said in the previous AOR video that I did, which was probably the last round in Brazil, I knew it was probably time to make the jump up into the top tier, and well, here I am. I am now in the top tier, up against the big boys, you could say now, with myself. But yeah, I am really, really excited for a brand new season of AOR. I mean, I felt like I was ready to make the jump up, and a few of my fellow colleagues probably felt the same way as well. So yeah, really great to be here, and hopefully I can put up a bit of a fight along the way, maybe spring a few surprise results, but I don't really know what to expect really for championship-wise throughout this whole season anyway. But as you can see now, setting off for what is actually going to be my fastest lap around the streets of Melbourne at Albert Park, but you can see just running a little bit wide. I've got to be honest, this lap was probably a bit average, if I'm honest, because even though I am on the ultra soft tyres, the plan was really to go onto a set of super soft tyres and start the race on that set. I think some others were probably going to do that strategy as well, but yeah, anyway, like I said, I'm not the only one to make the jump up to the F1 League. I've also brought a couple of my former colleagues from F2 in the form of DLG Gamble, who you may remember won a race at the United States Grand Prix last season, and I think finished 6th in the championship. And of course, that laggy person, who I'm pleased to say is my teammate for this season of AOR, which I'm really looking forward to. Of course, he finished 2nd in the championship in F2 last season as well. But I will point out, if you haven't seen the introduction video that I did for the F1 and even the F2 series, I urge you to go check those out, because it'll give you a full rundown of who's driving what car and where everyone is for season 3. But anyway, coming around for the final corner now. Like I said, the lap was pretty rubbish, so you can see DRC Jared setting the fastest time at the moment. We go for additional, I think, P2 for the moment. We do drop to P3 after Timo Marnik, of course, jumps into the top 2. But gotta say, I was a little bit surprised to be up there in the top 3 at least, as I get a warning for speeding into the pit lane, which of course I'm still learning. Of course, this is the first practice of the F1, especially with the league racing side of things. If I sound a bit all over the place, it's because I haven't done a voiceover on a video for ages, so I do apologise in advance for that. But anyway, you can see now I'm getting onto the super soft tyres, pretty much adding a little bit more fuel, because I think the plan was to have 2 runs at it anyway. But you see there's the list at the current moment. Still like 11 minutes to go. Of course, short qualifying this time around. It used to be 12 minutes last season. They've extended that to 18 minutes.
Fastest lap is a 1 minute 20.8.
And like I mentioned in the social race that we did a while back, Jeff is actually working. So thank you to Jeff for that one. But it took a fair while, I'll admit, for the time to pass. I think it was maybe 6 minutes at most before I went out again on this set of super soft tyres. You can see now we've probably got a bit under 4 minutes left, so it was probably enough time to do maybe 2 laps. The first one was probably not going to be the quickest anyway. I think mainly the majority of it was going to be the second run, as Jared actually goes even quicker. I think he's gone into the 1:19s now, so but you can see on the top right at the delta time, I was going green a little bit compared to my first run. I was probably going to improve compared to my definitely going to improve my first run. Again, just running a little bit wide coming out of turn 7 there, but that was one of the force engines getting out of the road there. But also I want to point out in the top tier as well, that there is absolutely no assist. So there's unfortunately for a couple of guys who raced in the F1 League last season, they've had to drop back to the F2 League because of the racing line. So there's absolutely no assist, like I mentioned in the preseason video. So basically no assist for the top tier, but this was probably going to be the proper lap that I was going to do, and the quickest one Anyway, but I just lose the rear end coming out of turn 1, and, well, that's pretty much put paid to that effort, unfortunately.
You've taken some minor damage.
Which is a bit of a shame, really, so I just pretty much had to really back out of that straight away. But there was about 2 minutes left, and I thought, well, it's not really much point going back into the pit lane at this point, so I thought I might as well try have a crack with this front wing damage, but it was going to be a long shot, though, let's be honest. But as we see now going into turn 1, and just look at the amount of understeer that I've got here, and I thought, well, the lap's ruined. You can see the delta tyres just pretty much just going up and up and up, and I thought, yeah, no point really, so just decided to back out of it, let a few people go through, and fortunately that was the session over for myself, unfortunately, which I was pretty disappointed about it, to be honest. So in the end, you see we got a bit of XP, but in the end finished up in P10, but we will be starting on the ultra soft tyres. DRC Jarrett gets pole with a 19.58. New Zealand Ryan, of course, the double reigning world champ in this tier, is in P2. You can see my teammates in P13 as well. He has the option of free choice of tyres, and Neon Trito didn't even set a lap time, obviously, so he can pretty much choose whatever tyres he wants. Basically, anybody outside the top 10 can start on whatever tyres they want. But going into the race, not really sure what to expect, but let's go racing here at the Australian Grand Prix. I love that new intro. Anyway, welcome guys and girls to the grid for the first round of this AOR season. Race strategy, as you can see on the screen, is just going to be the one stop at this point in time, because we have to take the ultra soft tyres as long as we can to, I think, lap 9, I think it was, to make the one stop work. And of course, we're in a new game. We got the formation lap back on. There was a little dramas with it last season, which means we had to turn it off. Thankfully, they have been fixed. Hopefully there won't be any more dramas in this season. And I think the safety car also has been turned on as well, because again, there was a few glitches. So hopefully they have been rectified for the online racing side of things, which should really spice this racing a bit up anymore. But anyway, here we go. We're all set for round number 1 here at AOR Oceania F1. 5 red lights. Let's do it around Albert Park, and it's a pretty okay start, to be honest. No wheel spin out of the start line there, but they're going into turn 1. H-Show, we're going inside of Fens there. DLG Gamble of Fens, look like they come together. Lost the spot there to Quicksilver, who's on the super soft tyres, as we just get up the inside here, and then to turn 3. Big dive bomb, that was literally not planned at all. Let's get the move done. Dominators are going way off the road. I think Pencil Man is out of this race already, so not the greatest of starts for the new man in the top tiers. So anyway, we're stuck behind DLG Gamble now. Through turn 7 we go. There's yellow flags ahead. There's chaos in front.
Okay, box.
There's a lot of chaos. Fens is out. Tiamat Marnik's out.
Okay, back to the pits.
We've collided with DLG Gamble. We've got no front wing at all. Somehow we've got out of it all and got into P3, which will now be P2, because DLG Gamble, for some unknown reason, was a bit slow there. But now my teammate's out of this race, which is not the greatest of starts for us as a team. It's going to hurt us constructors-wise. Now I've pretty much just got to take it all in my stride here and just get as many points as we can. But you see, just struggling. I'm just really pushing and trying to get back to the pits. I actually let H-O go through here, because at the time I didn't think he had as much any damage at all compared to the majority of us, but I think he got a little bit of damage from the little melee there, but unfortunately he missed the pit lane, so he had to continue on for another lap. So there was a few guys thankfully that got away with it, but coming into the pits I misjudged it big time, and I've got a 5-second stop go penalty, which is not the greatest of starts, I'll admit. But there's a few guys in already into the pit lane, as actually we thought at this time that Ben had actually quit in rage. But when I look back at his video, I think it was more he just lost connection to Xbox Live, so which is pretty unfortunate. So, but pretty much we've come out in P7, and we are the first of the guys that actually survived all that melee. But now this is going to be a long catch-up for this whole race. It's a replay on board now with the double reigning world champ in New Zealand, Ryan. So he gets a good start off the line compared to DRC Jarrett in turn 1. Nice move up the inside there. Now he goes through into turn 3 now. Jarrett's not giving up here. He might go to the outside here for a move, which is probably not the ideal spot. Ryan gives him a little squeeze, but he's still up there. Here's Jarrett. You can see that red proximity arrow. Probably not the best view of it looking in front here with Ryan, but now coming into turn 3, turn 6, I should say. Let's go through here, but he spun. There's New Zealand Ryan. There goes Ben. So I don't think that's where the damage started for Ben. But Ryan somehow has avoided all this chaos. He's got a bit of front wing damage, but there's all the remainder of the Williams and the other Ferrari. So there's only 14 cars left at this point, and there was 13, I think, after Laggy had retired. That was a very weird place to crash, if I'm completely honest. Here's a replay on board with Ryan's teammate, Tim Mardik, in position 4. He's got the good jump there on Dominator, who, of course, is a reserve. So he was filling in for Drop Bear, who couldn't make this round at the start. So he gets the jump here on Dominator, but he actually cops a whack up the rear end from Dom, and that will explain why Dom went off into the gravel. But let's see what actually happens here, because it looked like he actually got turned there from DRC Jarrett. I'm not sure, but somehow a car flew through there from Ben, on Ben's footage anyway, and all of a sudden he's out of this race. I'm not sure exactly which one it was, but somehow Warden survived all of this. He may have got a little bit of front wing damage, but here comes on board with Fence, who pretty much just had nowhere to go, really.
That looked bad. Are you all right? Let me know you're all
It's
right.
really unfortunate for the Williams driver. He's on board with DLG Gamble in the McLaren. Like I said, he's a former F2 racer who's joined in the F1 ranks this season, but going side by side with Fence. A little bit of contact there, so we'll explain why HO got the run here on him, but then you'll be able to see, excuse me, that I made my biggest dive bomb ever. But just couldn't quite get the move done on Gamble, so pretty much had to sit in behind him for the moment. But now going on a bit further on, later on in this laps, turn 6, through all this chaos there, and it's unfortunate. He's pretty much got the exact same damage as myself, so. And somehow he gets an illegal overtake on DRC Jarrett, which probably will explain why he had to slow it down. But thankfully he got rectified, but he's lost a spot now, so. Now let's have a look on board. This is on board BrockDoesStuff. Of course, he didn't have the best of qualifyings, did Brock, so as he goes through to turn 1, he's on the inside of my teammate there. Everybody taking it very cautiously through there. 2 Force Indias are a bit surprising down the order a little bit, but to be fair, it's Warden and Master Berserk have had to turn off the racing line this year, so President Cosby had a big lock-up there. He's a fellow newcomer as well in the Sauber. It looked like Pencilman actually slammed into someone. Look at Brock straight up the middle there of Laggy and President Cosby. Nearly got the run on Warden there. I'm not sure whether that was where he got the front wing damage or not, but just watch this, because Brock just pretty much goes straight through here and catches everyone napping here. Not quite on everybody, because he has to give the spot back on Master Berserk, but he just gets on the power too much and just slams into DRC Jarrett, and probably got a bit of front wing damage from that. But somehow he was one of the lucky ones to get away with it. Even Greekmaster, I seriously do not know how the hell Greekmaster survived all that melee and come out in the lead of the race. And the same could be said for Dominator, because he was off in the gravel. As Brock goes up the inside here of Master Berserk, who's got, I think, also front wing damage. You can see It's DLG Gamble who's going past now, so his dominator was pretty much in the gravel of turn 3, and he's somehow going to be in second. There's me going off into the pits. I think he's in, P3, I should say, because HO still had to come in. But on board with Neon Tridome, he gets the pass done on President Cosby. I don't think Neon's going to get away with this either. I could be wrong, but we'll wait and see. And he gets through that part of the section, that part of the racetrack okay, but I think it's a bit further on. He gets a little bit of drama here. It gets bottled up, and that might explain why my teammates got damaged, and now Neon's actually got damaged. There's Quicksilver. Another one who actually survived all that melee there. There's, that was a very nice move on Jared right around the inside around the outside for Neon, but is he going to have a look here on Warden into turn 13? No, he doesn't quite have enough, so after all this, DLG Gamble nearly slammed into the back of Master Berserk, nearly slammed into the pit lane wall there. Somehow managed to survive all of that, but that was just a whole heap of people coming to the pits. Master Berserk, Neon, myself, obviously, Gamble, I think President Cosby was another one, even the New Zealand Ryan, of course. So that's another front wing change for Gamble. He gets held up a little bit behind, was that Neon Tridome? I think it was. So explain it. There's Neon Tridome. That was Gamble having his big lock up through there, and he just manages to slow it down, does Neon. So fortunately, the strategy of starting on the soft tyres has not really worked out for Neon. Unfortunately, he's going to have to change the front wing and put on a set of super soft tyres. Now, it might be interesting to see where he goes with the strategy a bit later on, but there he goes right into the pits. So this is a disastrous start for him, trying to go for the three-peat this season in AOR, but front wing goes for the soft tyres compared to myself, obviously, to the super soft tyres. So it's got a little bit of a moment there through the fast right-hander there at 11 and 12. So yeah, I wasn't really sure which tyres to go with, as HO's now finally pitted.
DRS is now enabled.
And actually come out behind. So now we are officially the first guy that has avoided all the chaos. So as we get our first warning there for going just a little bit wide. But yeah, literally I'm the first guy out of all that's the first one on track, pretty much. Everybody else that's survived that is pretty much all up the road there. You can probably see on the mini-map there how far ahead they are compared to us, but we sit the fastest lap of the race. They 1:24.349, which I felt pretty cool about, but that was a shocking first corner, and it didn't last long because DRC Jared had to go and steal it, didn't he? So thank you, Jared, for that. Really appreciate it, mate. But now strategy here is just to pretty much just blaze on and see where we can go. I did consider maybe going on to another set of super soft tyres, but I think that's going to change later on the stint. But now lap 5 we go. We've got Master Berserk all over the rear end of us. He's got a bit of pace, got to say, in that Force India, so there's probably not really much point there. So I left enough room there for him, and did put up a little bit of a fight, but I knew it was not going to be much, so not worth it. But Berserk has a shocker run through turn 5 there. Think about it going back up the inside here. No, not quite, but we're still hanging on to him here. I didn't really want to let Berserk get away here, because we've still got a fair bit of pace. Let's be... there's Berserk has a little slide coming out of turn 9 and 10 there. We'll see if we can get a good run here through 11 and 12. See if we let him have a little run here, but he has a much better run compared to myself. I run a little bit wide, not too bad, but yeah, just didn't quite have enough here, and I think this is where it put play to that plan when it came out of turn 13 near the exit, and it just lost the back end, and that was pretty much the end of that one. So but, he's on board with DLG Gamble. Now he's really a bit of attack on here. We've got Neon Tridome's point of view as well. And the run here through to turn 11 and 12. That's not ideal. Only 2 cars through there. Neon's had to shortcut that part of the circuit there, but he come to 2 front runners that got into each other earlier on in the form of Ryan and DRC Jared. Gives him a little shove, does Ryan off into the gravel, and just Neon have a look up the inside. Can't quite get the power down. Really got a little bit caught up on the curb as well, but it's what it looked like on board with Ryan. So you see Gamble getting a move, putting the move on Neon Tridome. Is through the fast left-hand. You can see Ryan would probably be thankful that Neon actually shortcutted it, so he had to go straight up the middle here. Obviously past Neon now through on DLG Gamble. Like I said, he gave him a little bit of a shove, which probably gave DRC Jared the momentum there through that corner. But lap 6 we go now. And there's another proximity error behind in the form of HO. Like I said, he pitted a lap later, which he probably is still regretting not coming in on the same lap as most of us, but yeah, it is what it is really. But it just happens sometimes, so it's yeah, still hanging on to the rear end of Master Berserk as well, so we're still pushing on here, but again, like I mentioned earlier, there's probably no point fighting too hard earlier on, so I decided to let HO go through, and there is a little bit of lag there, probably with myself and HO. I think it may have to do with me, not necessarily with HO. I think he's improved his internet connection since last time. Somehow his car was bunny hopping through that corner. So I think this should be rectified, hopefully, in one of the next few updates, hopefully, for Codemasters. I hope that you're watching this, but there was a yellow flag as well. It's on board with DLG Gamble. And he actually gets a whack up the rear end. I think that possibly was Neon Tridome who's whacked into the rear end of him, which is a bit awkward there, and I think Neon put his hand up there and said it was totally his fault there, so can totally understand that. But through his fast 11, 12 section, he got on the curb and he spun the car. Thankfully, there was nobody around, thank God, but he's lost a whole bunch of time there, has DLG Gamble. These curbs are so, like I mentioned before, they're so deadly. You could just touch them one little bit and you can easily spin the car, but he's HO putting a bit of pressure on Master Berserk. Didn't quite get the move done through him on turn 3, but still pressurizing him, no doubt about it, and I thought this would be a good time to maybe gain on these guys and probably get a bit of momentum here. You see HO just putting a lot of pressure here on Berserk, going to turn 9 and 10, and Berserk's off the road here, so it's going to give HO and I a nice free position there for both of us. So now we've got a little bit of a run here on HO. We'll see if we can get a good run here through 11 and 12. We get our first 3-second time penalty. Just not ideal, but no, not really close enough with HO there. But DLG Gamble stays just getting worse. It's got front wing damage only a little bit, but here's Ryan, and Berserk's off the road again at turn 13. That's easy for Ryan and DRC Jared. Next up for them is, well, pretty much me. So, and that was probably me trying to push on as hard as I could, cutting that corner there.
It's time to use some of this charge.
So, yeah, not the greatest. And DLG Gamble's now got a 5-second stop-go penalty. So, it's just been a horrible day all around for the McLaren driver. He's obviously had to come in and put another front wing on. Probably going to go softs, maybe. I think it's softs. I could be wrong, but away he goes. So not the greatest of starts, unfortunately, to DLG Gamble. But yeah, lap 10 we go, running a bit wide. And again, that was probably just me just trying to push on, because I need these guys, like I said, Ryan and Jared are pushing as hard as they can, try and get past me, but have a little bit of a moment here through 11 and 12. That's just going to give those guys the momentum. Did think about putting up a little bit of a fight, but it was no use, because these guys, of course, on different tyre strategy, on different tyres, and they're easy moves for both of them, really. So Ryan and Jared have pretty much gone. They lost 2 spots there in the whole process. They're back into P9. So now I thought, let's just try and hang with these guys if we can, but yeah, we're able to see it didn't really work out, because these guys pretty much pulled away.
Some tyre grip around now.
And that was the other critical thing as well from Jeff, because, yeah, like I said, I planned to possibly go on another set of super soft tyres, but like I said, that plan, I think it would change later on during the race. As you can see now how much sliding I was doing through 11 and 12. Thankful I didn't actually bin it out of that corner, but there's easy move for Ryan there, and Jared pretty much followed behind as well. Didn't really put up much of a fight with those two, so it is a little yellow flag. Here's the LG Gamble. Can he hold? No, he can't. Oh dear.
Mind that front wing.
It's not been a great day for DLG Gamble, and I originally thought he and Neon Trudeau would actually come together again, but I think that's separate, as BrockDoesStuff who's pretty much slapped these guys. But watch what happens through here, because obviously Neon spun. Look at the save he had to do there for Brock. His front left tyre is pretty much on fire nearly. Well, it's in the yellow sector. You can easily overheat your tyres in this game as well, but Neon Trudeau is now out of this race. So it's very unfortunate for the Red Bull driver. There he is, off to the left there. So I think for the rest of this race, he pretty much became an engineer for his teammate H-O. We're still pushing on up the front of the field anyway, so you see how far behind I've dropped behind these guys anyway. So as he come through on the lap 12, Quicksilver's now coming to the lane for his. I think it's a one stop for him, but that's not really going to help with another 3-second time penalty. So that's now 6 seconds worth for myself. So I thought really I'm not going to get home with this set of tyres, so I thought it best off to box this lap anyway. And I did change the tyre strategy. And Jared's actually binned it there, not quite to retire out of the race, but he just went, I think, caught the curb a little bit too much there, I think, from memory. So anyway, we come into the lane. Thankfully, we kept under the speed limit this time. And you see H-O's come in as well, put on the soft tyres. So that's what I'm pretty much going to do here, put on the soft tyres. I had to wait a little bit, obviously, to serve this 5-second stop-go penalty, which is not really going to help my cause here. And we'll see here, get a little held up here because Master Berserk's gone past, so they've lost position out of all that. If I didn't have the 5-second stop-go penalty, I probably would have a fair gap to Berserk anyway. So anyway, we come out in P9. So got a little bit of fresh air to deal with. So now pretty much the goal here is just maybe try and catch up to Master Berserk and see whether we can catch him here. Here comes Warden. That's Greg coming out of the pit lane. Now, Warden did actually sustain a little bit of front wing damage, but he's continued on all the way. It's on lap 14, the next lap, and Greg's got the move done pretty simple there for him. But yeah, lap 13 and a little moment through there. Could have been that car there through that 11-12 section there, but yeah, that was definitely worth a penalty, a warning there for sure. But it was just me trying to push on as quickly as I could here. So again, I ran a little bit too wide coming out of turn 14 there, and it's not really helping my cause anyway throughout this whole race. So as here comes New Zealand Ryan in for his second stop. So he's going to be putting on the super soft tyres. It's been a real good recovery drive for Ryan. He could possibly get back on the podium. I think the wind's definitely out of the picture because Drake and Dominator are pretty much gone way. Look at them, they're way up the road, and the Williams and the Mercedes dots there, probably in the second 2 section there. But he comes out behind H-O there. So he's going to have to do a bit of passing here. He's on the quicker rubber, so we'll have to wait and see. Lap 17 we go. I did set my personal best of 24.229 from memory, so
the gap to the car ahead is 2.1 seconds. You're losing around 3/10 a lap. They're on old softs. Their tyres are 5 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:25.1. They have a time penalty of 9.0.
That was the critical one because Master Berserk's got one more time penalty compared to me. If I keep within the 3-second barrier, I could easily get P8 off Berserk in the end. But anyway, Warden comes in, done a ripper job to get, I think, 16 odd laps with a damaged front wing to get onto the super soft tyres. But you'll be able to see here on board with Ryan, he literally comes out right in front of Ryan, but on cold tyres, not really got much grip, and Ryan's got to do the move around the outside in the turn before he gets to turn 3. That's pretty easy there for Ryan. Here comes Gamble in again. Now he had to serve that 5-second stop-go penalty, obviously. for the spinning in the pit lane earlier on. So another front wing for him. So McLaren are definitely going through a lot of front wings. Obviously, it probably doesn't matter too much because Pencilman, his teammates, out of this race already. So we go to lap 19. And Berserk has a little moment through 11 and 12 there, which definitely closes the gap a little bit. And I thought this was probably a good opportunity, a good moment probably to see if we can gain on him a bit more here, because I don't know, I felt like I had a little bit more pace compared to him. Anyway, the main thing was probably to keep under that 3-second time barrier, because if that happened, I would still get PA. But anyway, here comes Ryan. He's gonna put a move here very shortly on HO. Still got DRS from the car in front. I think that's who's that in front? Quicksilver, I think. Yeah, the HO didn't have the greatest of runs through turn 1 and 2. Ryan's going to have to do this around the outside, and these two have had their fair share of fights in AOR before. Ryan goes right around the outside, has to lock up. And I think he's going to get this done, is he? Yes, he will.
Nice move.
That's a very nice move indeed. Thank you, Jeff, as always. But this is literally what happened behind with Warden. Pushing it the limits big time there with HO. Still going side by side through turn 5. Somehow these two get away with it. Warden again up the inside here at 6 and 7, but HO has a much better run there. I seriously don't know how these two did not come together there throughout that whole process, but looks like Warden's still got a little bit of speed. He's definitely on much fresher rubber. Much better run here. Probably going to have a look here in the turn 11 and 12, but HO hangs on for now, and Warden's now lost the other part of his front wing. Yeah, maybe, like Ben says in his video, a little bit too close, but now Warden's got the run here on HO, and I think he's got this one done.
Okay,
yes, he does.
It is 0.8 seconds. You're closing by 0.4 per lap. They're on old softs. Their tyres are 8 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 26.2. They have a time penalty of 12.0.
Well, originally it was 6 seconds, now it's 9 seconds worth, but crucial thing was he did get another time penalty, so I've still got to remain within that 3-second time barrier to get P8 off him anyway. But here comes Ryan again on Quicksilver, who's pretty much done a ripper job all round. Avoided all the melee and now gets into P4. Now he's going to chase after BrockDoesStuff, who's in a shock podium position. Is Brock? I don't think he's ever had a podium at all, or even a top 5 in AOR ever for Brock. So this will be a welcome result for him, especially into season 3. I had a little moment again through turn 11 and 12. Again, still hanging on behind Berserk, but there goes HO up the inside again. And this time he gets the move on Warden. So still a ding-dong battle there as Gamble has another little moment through the fast left right-hander. And, well, that's not going to help my cause if I keep doing that stupid corner cutting act anyway. But now onto the end of lap 24 on the 25. Ryan's now all over the back here of BrockDoesStuff. Now, Brock is well known for his lag, not going to lie, but Brock didn't have the greatest of runs through turn 1 and 2. Let's see whether Ryan's going to put a move on here. Brock has to cover the inside line. He's going to have to do it again around the outside. Can he hold it? Brock's doing everything he can, but this is a move now for the podium is for Ryan. So what a great recovery for him. But
they have a time penalty of 12.0.
Yeah, 12.0 still the time penalties, but began Berserk, had a shocker through 11 and 12. I'm probably going to say shocker a lot throughout this whole video, but still hanging on to him here. This is probably the closest I've been to Berserk nearly all this battle so far. So I should also point out, I think Ryan has got to gap Brock by a fair margin to keep that podium, because Brock's got less penalties compared to Ryan. So it'll be a tough challenge to get on, keep that podium for now. But now getting very close to Berserk here, but ran a little bit wide, a big understeer moment there, and now lost all that momentum. So going to have to do that all again to try and recover all this. But literally going to have to do this right to the last lap of the Grand Prix, which we're about to start. We come around the final corner now. Again, we're still hanging on to Berserk here.
There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
But the crucial thing is we are still under that 3 second barrier that we need to get this P8 off Berserk. But again, just went on the power a little bit too early, I think, coming through turns 1 and 2. And again, lost me all that momentum. But to be fair, Berserk put up a fair fight, let's be honest. Because the last time me and Berserk had a fair fight was back in TOR at, where was it? Hungary, I think it was. But yeah, in the end, I had to throw up the white flag here. I think Berserk's pretty much got me. Couldn't quite catch him in the end, so... Anyway, Greek Masters won the Grand Prix. We're going to come home in P9, which is a fairly decent result, but because of penalties, we do get elevated to P8, so we do split the Force Indias, which I'm pretty relieved about in the end. We could have maybe, if we survived all that melee, maybe a top 5, but I'll take 8th place. It's not too bad, but there's the podium. Greek Master wins from Dominator, and BrockDoesStuff actually gets his first podium, so a big, well, congratulations to him. Very good effort there. I think he kept under, like I mentioned, the gap to Ryan anyway to make sure he got that podium back. But there's the results. Dominator actually crossed the line in first, but he did cop a 3-second time penalty during the race, which is very unfortunate because it was literally nothing between the top two. But you got Ryan in fourth. Quicksilver, great job as well in P5. HO, Warden, myself, Berserk, and President Cosby gets points as well. So there's the driver's standings. Obviously not much there. Williams get the constructors. Haas is currently P8. So, yeah, all in all, not too bad around. But a pretty good start to this AOR F1 campaign. And I hope you enjoyed this video, guys and girls. If you did, be sure to give it a big smash on that like button. You can subscribe to my channel as well for plenty more AOR Oceania content. And you can follow me on social media. All the links are down in the description. Make sure you hit that bell icon so you don't miss any of my new content as well. Until the next time, which is the dreaded Bahrain Grand Prix, unfortunately. It is goodbye, and I'll see you all next time.